Hi everyone, welcome to the show. You're tuned in to Love, Passion, and Lifestyle with Jay Slim. Today I have a very enthusiastic and very smiley
always
Sarah in the house.
Yeah.
And she will be telling us a little bit about her passion. All right, but hey, I'm not going to do a spoiler now. I'm going to let Sarah do the talking, okay? Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much, Jay, for having me. I love being able to, just share passion, love, and to do it with you. So I'm excited.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where do I start? June 16th, 1990, I was born. No, I'm just kidding. I won't go that far, but yeah. My name's Sarah, and I live in Budapest, Hungary, and I've lived here for the past couple years. I love it, and I pastor a church here, and I love that I get to be here and do that, and that's kind of, where I am right now.
Wow, okay. And where are you from?
North America. So the United States of America is where I was born. I was born in Montana, raised in Oregon, lived in California. So kind of, all around the U.S. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Mm-hmm. And what brought you to Hungary?
Budapest was never on my radar. Mm-hmm. I mean, mind you now, I feel like it's a super underrated city. I love Budapest. I love Hungary. But I never wanted to move here. But what had happened is I was living in Indonesia and I was working at a church there.
Right.
And then when COVID happened, our church had a lot of third culture families because we're international English speaking.
Right.
And so the Dutch actually colonized Indonesia. So we actually have a lot of Dutch European influence in Indonesia, which not a lot of people know. And so our church was full of those kind of mixed families. So European, Asian. And then during COVID, a lot of the families moved to Europe because it's better for medical care than Indonesia. And so when all the families moved to Europe, they're like, oh man, we miss the kind of community and the church vibe that we had in Indonesia. Because in Europe, as you probably know, Jay, it's very, religion here is very kind of Catholic, liturgical, very high standard. And that's not my faith at all. And so, the church was like, hey, Sarah, these families are wanting this community. Do you want to move to Europe and start kind of this Christian international community? And I was like, sign me up. Let's go.
How did you find love? So tell us a little bit about the love that you found in what you do and how you got to that point.
Ooh, that's a good question.
And you can tell us a little bit about what that love is. So
yes. Ooh, I like it. Okay. So maybe I'll start there. So the love and my passion is people. So I don't know. I think it probably started from a young age. My sister was going through some mental health stuff when I was younger. And I think I always saw her in isolation and get worse. But when I saw my sister with community and with people, it always really helped her. And so I think that's where it started, that love of just wanting to bring community to people and to really love people and know the importance of it.
Okay.
So I think probably started at a young age with my sister, and then it just grew from there because I was like, everybody come to my house, party. and you know me, I love to party. So just bringing people together. And always for a good cause. Because that's the thing. If you think about it, everybody tries to find community, but some ways it's not healthy. So whether that's drugs, whether that's gangs, that's all about community and not feeling alone. So I try to bring, and again, through me in ministry or church, try to bring community in healthy ways for people. But my love is people and just bringing people together.
Wow.
Diversity, unity, and just bringing people.
How do you tell yourself that it's worth it?
That it's worth it. I would say when I can see the change in people's lives, when I either give them a space to be vulnerable or provide a space for them to get to know different people in community and see how that changes them, it makes it all worth it.
Wow.
And so the late nights or the early mornings or the phone calls, the crying, the laughing, in the end, it's just real. Because when you see God continue to change people from the inside out, it's awesome.
Wow.
So yeah, I love journeying with people and being able to see that. But knowing, as we know in anything, every person is different and every person's timeline is different for change, for growth. And so not growing weary if I'm why aren't they changing or why don't they see it? But hey, we're in this together. We're going to journey no matter what. So yeah, but then inevitably seeing that is always encouraging for me.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And what were some of the building blocks for you when you started on this journey?
Yeah, building blocks will probably be the people that believed in me. So that always inspires me to believe in others. And so, yeah, growing up, whether it was caring for my sister and my parents believing in me, to going into school and teachers believing in me, and then going into the workforce and my boss believing in me, and then inevitably where I am now, being able to be a pastor, but my lead pastor believing in me and really shepherding me, mentoring me. It's the people, bro, that are the building blocks. And I want to be that building block for other people. So, because people all, we need people to believe in us. Because when we don't, it's good to have someone in our corner reminding us we're worth it. You're enough. You're valued. You can do it. You got this because God's got you. And we need that because life's hard.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Okay. And what were some of the challenges that you faced on this journey so far?
Yeah. I think, if I'm being full honest, I would say loneliness. Because that's a hard thing is when you are building people up, when you are providing a space for people, it's always kind of building community for people, but then you can feel alone in building it, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird. It's I'm building people up and I'm building community, but in doing that, I can feel alone. And so I think that's probably been a challenge, is being hey, I have these visions, and I want it to come to fruition, but not other people are at that level, or they're not ready, or they can't see it yet. And that's something that I've had to work through, is how can I beat that loneliness?
Right.
And how can I really bring people into the vision?
Right.
Because I think I struggle with pride, like many people. That's the thing. It's easy to be prideful. It's hard to be humble. Amen, Kendrick Lamar. So it's I need to sit down. I need to be humble and just bring people in. Hey, this is what I see. Do you see it? And to be humble enough, if people see something different, to be let's do that. My way isn't the highway. There's other ways. And so, I would say the challenge is to combat my loneliness and my pride with humility, and bringing people in would probably be, a challenge that I'm to this day still trying to work through.
So working with people, I guess, is not something easy at all. How do you align yourself every day with your vision?
I would say,
I guess when you wake up, so dealing with people can be difficult, and that comes with its own challenges. So how do you tell yourself that, hey, this is difficult, or I guess it's not always a rosy relationship. Sometimes you get a little bit of, tension.
Yeah.
How do you tell yourself that I'll go past this and keep my vision going?
I would say, yeah, that's a great question. I think it comes down, like I said earlier, like that humility aspect.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, working with people ain't easy, but then it's like I have to look back like I'm not easy. So it's like if God can deal with my crap, if you know what I mean, like I can deal with people's crap. Like we can do this, and I can do this, because if I can be loved despite all my pride and my faults, who am I to judge? Who am I not to love and still journey with people that still screw me over or don't do what I ask, or like you said, have different vision or whatever that is. But yeah, I think it just comes back to reminding myself like, hey, if God can still love me unconditionally, regardless of everything I've done, I want to do that the same for others. Like that overflow of love, that overflow of forgiveness, dealing with crap. I want to do the same with others. I want them to know what it feels like in a good way.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you balance your vision with every other thing else going on in your life? I guess you have work, family, friends, activities, hobbies. How do you maintain a work-life balance?
Yeah. I think because my work is a little unique, right? So I work at the church. So I think trying to keep that balance of like, hey, yeah, when can I just like hang out with people, but when am I counseling people? Or what's the balance of that? And I would say, I just want to be the same person, whether I'm in a club or whether I'm in church or whether I'm hanging out with people or whether I'm counseling people. Like I want that same Sarah, that same love of God to be no matter where I am. And that's, I think, how I try to keep that balance. Because I think some people are like, oh, I'm going to put on my work hat, or I'm going to put on this. And I get it, but I think you can lose yourself a lot in that. And it's like, yes, there's different ways you can act, but if you maintain that same character, the same heart, and of course, my passion being just people and loving them and sharing God's love. So keeping that as the foundation, no matter where I am with my family, my friends, work, whatever, fun, like I want that to speak volumes and that to always be the same. So when my people from the club come to church, they're like, hey, you're the same. Or when people from church see me in the club, they're like, you're the same. And I'm like, yeah, like you can be in different environments and still be the same person.
Wow.
And I think our world needs more of that, because there's a lot of people putting on a lot of faces, and I'm like, yo, you're losing your identity, and that's why we have identity crisis, because people are like, but I can't do that, or I can't be, and it's just like, hey, be you, be who God made you to be, no matter where you're at, and then go from there.
What would you advise people out there who are trying to build on a similar passion like yourself? They love people, they're trying to get into the ministry and do something in whatever capacity. How would you advise them to start?
I would start with prayer. I think so easily we live in a world of like everything has to be fast. And it's like, if you don't get an answer right away, or if I don't make a decision, like I'm screwed. And I would just encourage people, if you're really seeking, hey, I want to grow in my love for people, I want to grow more in ministry or whatever that is, like pray about it. Be like, hey, God, show me how to love people. Like, help me. Or how, God, what have you gifted me in that I can do in ministry? So it's like, it's almost taking like a step back, because I think so often we move so fast in our society of TikToks and fast food and delivery. Like, it's just like we want it now. And it's like, but there's so much beauty in like the waiting. And I think I've had to learn that over the years in loving people. In ministry, it's like I said earlier, it's the timeline's always going to look different, and you can't put your expectations on that. But it's like, hey, when you're just like, you're on this journey, you're praying about it, you're seeking God, you're seeking love, then it's like, hey, this is the direction you're going to go in. And that's the beauty of it. And the waiting might be 2 hours. The waiting might be 2 years later. Yep. You never know. But like, it will come, because I truly believe God always answers prayers. But sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, and sometimes it's wait. So though, like, but no matter what it is, like, he always answers. So
has working on your passion, has it changed your perspective of life?
Oh, for sure.
How?
For sure. In every perspective, I think seeing people and seeing that every person is the same. And we want the same thing as humans. So no matter whether you're from Asia, from Africa, from America, Europe, like, we all want to be loved. We all want to be seen in some capacity, right? We want to have that support system. And it's like, when you see that all humanity is like the same in likeness, it takes away division. It takes away petty disagreements. It takes away racism. It takes away whatever that is. And it's just like, it's that beautiful thing when you're like, hey, every person wants to be loved, the end. And like, leave it at that. Yeah. And then you go from there, and you do, of course, you build similarities and like go from there. But that is the number one similarity. And that's the beauty of it, is like, we all have already been loved by God. And to be able to share that, like, hey, you're already loved. Let's love people together. That's the overflow, Jay. Like, so that's my biggest thing, is like, it comes to that.
What is your proudest moment so far? So the reason is because someone out there might be able to relate to that, or pick an inspiration from that story. So pick one and just tell us, what's the proudest moment that you would want to share out there?
Oh man. Okay, I got so many, but I know we're limited on time, or else this podcast would be like 5 hours. Okay, I'll just say something recently, especially here in Budapest. So, which I know she would not mind. Can I give a shout out? So Chenge, my girl Chenge, I love her. So she's Hungarian, and she hadn't really been going to church here in Hungary. And she came one night because she heard that like we had a worship night with free pizza. And she's like, free pizza, let's go. And so she had come. She was looking so cute in her like crop top, and she was looking so good. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love your fit. Like, you look so great. And then, you know, the worship service goes on. I do the message because I'm the pastor. And then at the end, she's like, wait, you're the pastor? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I didn't even know how like the church was going to react like the way that I look. Cause like I felt really anxious, and I was worried and that I would be judged. And she's like, I felt opposite. Like, I feel accepted. I feel like I'm loved here, no matter what I wear, no matter what I say. And it's like that to me is one of the top like proudest moments, when someone can get into church and break down walls and be like, hey, I don't have to look a certain way or act somewhere to be loved and to be accepted. Because that's the thing. God will transform and change later. That's not our job. Our job, for me, my belief, my job as a Christian or a pastor or whatever, isn't to judge, it's to love. Because that love is the foundation, and that conviction, all that's the Holy Spirit. That's God. That's not us. And I think so many believers get it twisted, and they have to convict, call people out. And I'm like, yo, like, that's not our job. And so for Chenge to say that to me, that she didn't feel judged, that she feel loved, and still goes to our church this day and is a leader, it just blows my mind. So that's probably, one of the
top
proudest
tier
moments.
ones.
Yeah, for sure.